Hey, what's goody? What's up? How you feeling? How you doing? If you're not new, you already know what the vibe is. And if you are new, welcome to my channel. And don't forget to subscribe if you like what you see and you like what you hear. I'm not even gonna waste no time, and we're just gonna jump right on into this. If you don't have me on Instagram, I suggest that you go and you add me on Instagram, Twitter. I don't really use Facebook like that, so that's like pretty much a no-go. But Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, you could definitely catch me on there, and make sure you go follow me. I usually do follow back. Like, I'm not bougie or nothing. But if you already have me on Instagram, I did ask on my story, if anybody had any questions in regards to the DIVA Cup. Every time I post about my DIVA Cup and me, on my cycle about the DIVA Cup, like, I get so many questions in my DM. So I figured, let me just make a video and answer as much questions as possible. I already know what you're about to say, and I already know what you're about to think. It has nothing to do with the video. But listen, I attempted to crimp my hair for the first time. And I always do this because every single time I want to put my wig on and I want to do a new style, I end up always installing it before styling it, when I have a whole wig stand and all that stuff to begin with. So it's like, why am I going through the struggle of like doing my own hair on my head when I could just do it on my wig? I mean, my mannequin head, and then put it on. So this is my first attempt at crimps, and even though it didn't come out okay, like, we're just gonna keep getting better and better. But that was a little sidebar. Don't come for me. Okay, whatever. Now we're just gonna go on to the questions. I have my notebook because I wrote down all the most questions asked, if that makes sense. So, a lot of the questions are repetitive, and we just gonna keep rocking out with it. Now, if you don't know what a DIVA Cup is essentially a menstrual cup. There are so many different brands that you can pick from when it comes to a menstrual cup. I just so happen to be using the DIVA Cup. I've never used any other menstrual cup before. Fortunately enough for me, the DIVA Cup worked for me, so I didn't have to do all that shopping around like other folks had to do. But if you are in that category where like the DIVA Cup doesn't work for you, there are an abundance of brands, and I will try to link as many as I can below. But if you just Google menstrual cup, a whole bunch of the menstrual cup should pop up for you. Moving on to the first question. Someone said, I'm scared to use it. Any advice before using it? Now, there's nothing to be afraid of. Now, if you use a tampon, you can use a menstrual cup. It's pretty much the same thing. There's literally nothing to be afraid of. Like, it's all silicone, it has no chemicals in them. It's super easy to clean, super easy to put in, super easy to take out. Like, it's like chef's kiss, okay? It's like everything. Number 2, what are alternatives if your vagina rejects it? Now, I put this as number 2 because your vagina rejects things, but it's not going to reject the DIVA Cup itself, if that makes sense. Like, now, when you say reject, it's a little weird because it's going to feel like your vagina is rejecting it, but all it's trying to do is like get used to having it up there. So this is where the conversation of like tightness comes into play, low key, because it doesn't matter how tight your vagina is, like, it's a muscle, and if it's a muscle, it's going to give you room, or it's going to make your body feel, what it feels when you're stretching out that muscle. So when you go to work out and, that's your first day either running or using like barbells or something, or, you're using weights for the first time, you're putting a different type of stress on that muscle. So the next day you're really gonna feel it, or you're even gonna feel it 5 minutes after the fact, which is pretty much the same case for a menstrual cup. If this is the first time you're ever using a menstrual cup, your vagina, and you probably, and you've used tampons, but a tampon is much smaller than a menstrual cup, then you would know that because the menstrual cup is a little bigger, then your vagina has to basically shape around that shape. So it's not going to reject necessarily, it's just going to be a little funny feeling for a little bit until, you know, your vagina gets used to that being there. Where do I buy it from? You can honestly buy a DIVA cup from any Rite Aid, CVS, you know, Walgreens, Target, Walmart, like any store that has a pharmacy in it, you're gonna find a DIVA cup. Now, you know, if you don't want to, if you've tried a DIVA cup, this is for my people who, you know, have tried a menstrual cup before. If you've tried a DIVA cup and didn't work for you, majority of the time you're not going to be able to find another menstrual cup in stores. I've never been able to find a menstrual cup in store. Every time I wanted to, you know, look at different brands, it's always online. So you can honestly just take your pick. You can literally get a DIVA cup from any local pharmacy, or you can go ahead and do shopping around online. How do I clean it? So I will insert a video of me cleaning it, but when you clean it, you want to use a oil-free, fragrance-free soap. Now, my go-to soap for this, and you know, I wanted to save myself the headache, I already use Dr. Bronner's cast-style soap. So because I already use this in peppermint and tea tree oil, the peppermint, tea tree, and almond one, you know, I just went ahead and got me the baby unscented. You know, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just there's no scents or fragrances and things like that. Now, you can either use the liquid form or you can use the bar form. The bar form, I usually like use this one when I'm home, and then I carry this one in my purse when I'm, you know, on my monthly and things. And even though I don't necessarily take my menstrual cup out in public too often, because I usually don't need to dump it when I'm out, it just makes everything so much more easier. It just makes everything so much more cleaner and so much more hygienic. So I would honestly say when it comes to travel purposes, use, you know, a liquid, and then when you're home, or you know, if you want to go ahead and travel with the bar soap, you can definitely do that too. It's honestly up to you. It's your preference. Like I said, I like the liquid when I'm on the go, just for me. And when it comes to actually cleaning it now, you know, you're gonna want to take it out, dump it, use either lukewarm water or cold water, and you know, rinse it, clean it as normal, and then you don't even have to necessarily dry it. You can just pop it back up in there, you know. But before you even take it out and clean it, you have to wash your hands. Don't forget to wash your hands. Don't forget to wash your hands. Do not forget to wash your hands, okay? Anything you want to do when it comes to your little good, always want to wash your hands. Okay. Next, can you talk about the different sizes and on which days you should use it? Again, a menstrual cup is a menstrual cup. It's going to stay standard throughout the whole entire cycle. Now, if you didn't know, your uterus does move along your period. I was gonna say menstrual, but I had like a brain fart just now. But yeah, when you're on your period, you know, your uterus moves. Sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher, sometimes it stays the same. Honestly, it depends on your body. Now, when it comes to the sizes is key when you want to go purchase a menstrual cup to begin with. Now, my DIVA cup is the standard size number 1, I believe, and there's 3 different sizes. There's a 0, a 1, and a 2. The 0 are for teenagers between the age, are for teenagers, I'm not even gonna say between the ages, but are for teenagers up until the age of 18, 19. Then when you turn 20, they advise you to use the number 1, which is for any woman that has never gotten pregnant. And then the number 2 is for any woman that has gotten pregnant and has given birth. I've never given birth. I don't have kids. I've never gotten pregnant. So I'm going to use the number 1. When it comes to sizes of the other menstrual cups, I'm not really too sure how that works because I've only ever used the DIVA cup. Like I said, when it comes to menstrual cups and DIVA cups, it honestly depends on your body, and you really honestly just have to shop around depending on if the DIVA cup doesn't work for you. Now, you might experience some cups that just don't work at all for you because of the way it's, you know, manufactured, and that all deals with the length, not so much of the width. And you know, some of them come shorter, some of them come longer, and it honestly depends. Like I said, it all goes back to your personal uterus. My uterus is pretty standard, and it sits at a pretty average place, so using a DIVA cup can work for me. Whereas some women, you know, their uteruses just naturally sit lower, so a DIVA cup might not work for them because a DIVA cup might be too long. Whereas, you know, if you're somebody who has a longer, you know, whose uterus sits higher, you might want to get a longer cup so that, you know, it can actually like do its thing. So yeah, that all is important really, because if you have a lower sitting uterus and you have a DIVA cup that is too long for you, that's going to be extremely uncomfortable for you. It doesn't matter how many times you wear it, it's always going to be uncomfortable. And you know, vice versa, if you have a higher sitting uterus and you use a menstrual cup that is shorter, you are in jeopardy of actually going through like some leakage and some, you know, overflowing, because your uterus is sitting higher and your menstrual cup is sitting so much lower and is so much smaller that, you know, it's going to fill up much faster than if you was to get a cup that works for your moving uterus. On. So yeah, doesn't feel uncomfortable or painful. I promise you, it's not uncomfortable or painful. Like I said before, it is going to be a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but once you get used to it, you're going to be good to go. Does it leak? It honestly depends on how you insert it. I've experienced some leakage before, I'm not going to lie, and that's honestly because I didn't insert it properly. And you know, sometimes like it just you know, sometimes it happens. Like, you know, sometimes like you don't even put up a tampon properly, you're gonna experience some leakage. Like, you know, if you don't, you know, apply your pad on properly, you're gonna experience some leakage. So it's pretty much the same concept. Like, if you don't put up the DIVA cup properly, you're going to experience leakage. That's not to say that, you know, you experience leakage all the time. Like, if I'm rushing and I don't put in my DIVA cup properly, I'm definitely going to experience some leakage. But if I feel like I'm good to go and like I took my time and like actually put it in, I'm usually fine. Now, number 9, do you have to wear a liner with it? No, not necessarily. Like I said before, you shouldn't really experience any type of leakage if you put it in properly, because once you insert your DIVA cup, it acts like a suction. So because it's acting like a suction, nothing should be getting out or in. So yeah. How often do you have to take it out? Again, depends on your flow. I don't even want to say again, but it honestly depends on your flow. I'm a pretty average, I feel pretty slow average flower, so I don't flow as heavy or as fast as some other women, and some women flow is heavier or is faster, I guess, if you want to say heavier. But some women flow is heavier, and you know, you may have to dump it out a little more often than somebody like me. Since my flow is not that heavy, I can get away with dumping out my DIVA cup twice in a day. And that's usually when I wake up in the morning and right before my shower, before I go to sleep. Sometimes I might take it out midday depending on what I'm doing or depending on how my flow is that day. So you honestly just have to keep track of yourself, but you don't have to keep checking it like every 2 hours with your standard tampon or pad. Like, you can go much longer with that and you'll be fine. Like, there's no smell, there's no nothing, like you'll be okay. What are some other brands besides DIVA cup? Like I said, there's an abundance of different brands. I will link majority of them below. Are there any health benefits? There are an abundance. I don't care what nobody says. There's an abundance of health benefits when switching to a menstrual cup. And the biggest one being is that there's no chemicals in them. There's no chemicals in them at all. They're made of silicone. They're reusable. You save a lot more money purchasing and investing in a menstrual cup than you are in pads and tampons. And again, you are not exposing yourself to NT, any, none, finito, nada. You're not experiencing exposing yourself to any chemicals. That is like, yes. It's just all silicone. It's made of 100% silicone. There's no dyes. There's no nothing. It's a clear little plastic thing that you could keep using and boiling and doing whatever you gotta do with it, okay? Okay, save yourself some coins, baby girl. And don't expose yourself to no harmful chemicals to your little toot, because, you know, she precious. And you gotta take care of her, okay? Because when you take care of her, she take care of you. Period. Period. And we're talking about periods. I crack myself up, okay? How do you insert it? I left this question for last because, baby girl, you can insert this bad boy 2 to 3 different ways. I'm going to show you my DIVA cup. This is my personal DIVA cup. And you will notice a little bit of discoloration and staining, and that is normal. That is normal. So do not shame anybody, and do not shame yourself if you get a clear DIVA cup and it ends up staining, because you're going to experience staining no matter what. Cool. This is my DIVA cup. You know, this is her. This is the bad girl right here. Now, your DIVA cup will have like a little thing down here, and some people cut it off, some people leave it. I'm just the type of person that left it. I don't really care. And now it's time to show you, you know, how you put her in. So my favorite method, which I feel is the easiest method, is the scooper. I call it the scooper. And it looks like this. So you see how I just popped open? So you pinch it and then you bring it back like that, and it's a scoop. Now, some people like the sandwich method or the C method, which is like this. You know, just fold it in half. But I feel like this is much harder because it's just a lot to work with. So I definitely always go with this one. And then what's the other one? I can't remember what's the other one, but I think it's like this, and then you fold. It's like the scooper, but like instead of just pinching it, it's like you pinch, drag, and then do sandwich. It's a little weird, but my favorite is the scooper because it's just so much easier, so much cleaner, and it just like you just, and then that's it. That's all you gotta do. Okay, that's all you gotta do. Now I'm gonna put my DIVA cup back in the bag it came from. I do believe that most menstrual cups come with a little bag like this. But if it doesn't, definitely just go to like your local dollar store. Obviously wash the bag first and just put it in here. But that's pretty much it for all my Q&As when it comes to menstrual and DIVA cups. I love the DIVA cup, and I may, you know, just do a separate video explaining my experience with menstrual cup and my experience with organic pads and tampons. But I definitely do recommend the DIVA cup. Like, it just saves so much more stress. I went in the pool with it, so I didn't experience nothing going bad down there or anything like that. So I would definitely like really recommend you switch over to a menstrual cup because they're so much better than regular pads and tampons. There's no chemicals in them whatsoever. Even though they are on the little more expensive side, like a menstrual cup can run you for $40, but imagine a $40 one-time purchase versus between $13 to $15 pad and tampon purchase. And if you're anything like me, like I tend to change my pads and tampons every hour and a half to 2 hours. So you're going through a lot of pads and tampons and spending a lot more money in replacing new pads and tampons than just purchasing a DIVA cup for $40, getting you a travel size Dr. Bronner's cast out soap for like $2, And that's a $42 investment, and you save so much money because you don't have to keep on, you know, replacing them. You don't have to worry about, you know, losing them, or, you know, if you're outside. The only thing bad about it is that if you're outside and, like, say for example, you know, one of your friends might end up getting her period, you know, just out of nowhere, you know, it happens to the best of us, and she asks you for a pad or tampon, more than likely you're not going to have those anymore because you have a menstrual cup and you don't carry around them anymore. But they're super, super easy to clean. You boil them before and after every single usage to kill all the bacteria, and you store them in a cool room temperature place. Mine is usually just in my drawer in this little bag, and I call it a day. But I hope this was helpful. I hope this was informative, and stay tuned for my next Q&A, or just, you know, comment down below with whatever you want me to review or whatever you want to ask of me, and I'll be sure to answer all your questions, okay? See you next time.